to the Oxygen podcast. My name is Jen. We are navigating life, and today I am so excited for two reasons. Number one, I am having my first guest on the podcast, Heral, and I cannot wait to get started with the conversation because we are talking one of my favorite languages, the law of attraction and energy and thoughts and words. So here is my guest, Heral. How are you today?
I'm doing very well.
Heral, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you to teaching the law of attraction?
Okay. I was introduced to law of attraction in a different way. Like when I was going through a difficult time, in fact, I had depression going on in me, and then I tried to commit suicide. And
Mm.
one of the therapists gave me a book from Dr. Wayne W. Dyer, and that talked about whatever you think comes true in your life. So I had to go ahead and look within myself what kind of thoughts I'm having. Dr. Wayne also talked about affirmations, and I right away started doing affirmations because I wanted to get over with whatever negativity was in my head. So that was my initial start with law of attraction, although I didn't even understand what it is. So later, when I actually came in with the affirmations, actually things started changing within me. So
What was your first affirmation? So people new to affirmations, do you remember the affirmation that you used to pull
yes,
yourself out? What was
yes,
that?
it was about my health, mental health. So I would always tell myself while I'm walking or going for walks or even I'm sitting at home that I'm in perfect health, mentally, physically, emotionally. That was my first affirmation, that I am in perfect health. Actually, that time I was in such a narcissistic atmosphere, I would say, that I used to feel that I'll go mad. It was so intense, the atmosphere. And there was no way I could go out of that atmosphere physically. But then, with and there were a few more affirmations which I started doing. And because of those affirmations, I kept myself emotionally away from those narcissistic people in my vicinity. So when I noticed that things are happening in a good way for me, so I started to explore more about law of attraction.
And for those people, because law of attraction was new language that I learned probably maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And when you first hear the words, people might not be aware of exactly what law of attraction is. Would you be able to explain what law of attraction is and some of the foundations, just to give people an idea of what we're actually talking about?
Sure. It's basically one of the universal laws. There are few more universal laws, and the universal laws are there whether you're aware of them or not, and they work in your life by default. And law of attraction is one of those. Just you can compare it to law of gravity. Until Newton saw the apple fall, none of us was aware of gravity. So gravity is there and has been there forever whether we are aware of it or not. Similarly, this law of attraction is there. And what law of attraction states is that whatever is within you, you are broadcasting it out into the universe, and it gets whatever you broadcast in the universe, it gets attached to frequencies and vibrations of similar kind, and it comes back to you just like a boomerang. So its law of attraction also tells you that your emotions are the indicator of your vibrational frequency. So right now, everybody, all of us understand that everything is energy, and quantum physics suggests that with scientific validation that everything around us, within us, is energy. So whatever energy we are putting out, we get back that. If you are putting out negative energy, you get back negative events, interactions, or negative surroundings.
And how, if you and I speak I call it the language, energy and law of attraction, but on a simpler level, what exactly is it? So it really, it's our thoughts, right? What we're focusing on is what we're going to attract. And I think what you're saying is both good and bad. It's this vibrational energy. And I always envision my negativity as just like this magnet, right? It's calling in.
Yeah.
What are some of the foundations of, if somebody wants to think better and feel better? We talked about affirmations, but if we're talking about law of attraction and somebody, I get this a lot. People are wanting to feel abundant, but they're focused on their lack. So can you
Yeah.
speak to that?
Yes, it's the fundamental of law of attraction is where your focus is. Whatever you focus upon, that becomes your dominant vibrational frequency. So that is what you start attracting in your life. The universe is all inclusive. It says, whatever you say, that's my command. So I will provide you with that. So if you're focused on lack, universe will say, yes, you get it. If you're focused on abundance, universe will say, yes, you get it. So it's like that. And all that focus comes from to us from our mental faculty. That's thoughts, mainly thoughts. Whatever thoughts we are thinking about. If you continue to think your thoughts up to 17 seconds, they start growing in your mind. Like you start attracting more thoughts of the similar kind. For example, if you're upset with somebody, the moment you think of that scenario that you got upset because of, you start thinking more thoughts of the similar kind, unless you stop it. And if those thoughts continue for 17 into 468 seconds, that becomes your dominant thought. And that the process of manifestation starts. So
Hmm.
you are going to attract the same thing unless you pivot it. It's very important to understand that you have to pivot your thought.
I love that, the idea of pivot. For the people that are, I get this conversation a lot. People, I want to be abundant. I want to be abundant, but I don't have money. I don't have. And so for me, I always tell them that but kind of stops the energetic flow, right? Because there's that confusion in the universe. It's like, well, do you want money or do you not want money, right? There's a confusion. And you had mentioned one time that you're delaying the process by carrying the thoughts. Can you speak to that? Because I loved that when you mentioned the delay of process because of our thoughts.
You know what happens is every subject is two subjects basically. If you are desiring something, that means you are also aware that stuff is not with you. You are also aware of the lack. So you have to understand which direction are you focused. That comes from the law of polarity, that every subject has two poles. For example, if you desire a perfect loving husband, that desire also tells that right now you don't have a perfect loving husband. So you have to understand what side of the pole you are focused on.
Oh,
That is
that's
very important for you. So if you are focused on the lack of the subject, or you are focused on the yes of the subject, the yes side of the subject.
so if they're focusing on a lack of money, but they're wanting money, then that's where the universe is saying, oh no, but you keep talking about the lack of money. So that's really the focus. So if we can
Absolutely.
get people, if people can pivot their thoughts and realize that I'm thinking lack and shift it to thinking the abundance, and then we start to open the floodgates of
Yes.
manifesting.
So sometimes what happens is that even if you're focused on the positive side of your desire, but because universe has its gestation period, so it gives you when universe realizes that you're really ready to accept it and work with it, it takes a little longer. And when it takes a little longer, immediately you start, oh, it's not happening. I'm not getting it. Sometimes when even you apply for a job or something and it takes a little bit longer, then all the thoughts that start coming in the head, oh, it's not happening. Maybe I don't deserve it. Maybe it's so you shift to by default, you get into the lack side of it. So the universe says, okay, that's my command. You give me this command that you want to stay with the lack. It's okay. So you won't get it. But then you have to be aware that you don't have to stay with your current reality. Rather, you have to focus on your positive future reality, which you really desire.
And which we're all worthy of, this desire to
Yes,
live the life.
yes,
I
absolutely.
love that. And I think it's not an easy concept for a lot of us, right? First having awareness of our thoughts, but then noticing them and being able to pivot. I call it's a practice. I think for me
Yeah,
as a mind body coach, that's one of the hardest things that I teach is to the mind.
absolutely, absolutely. If you start meditating,
Mhm.
meditation expands your awareness. So your awareness of your own thought process is also expanded. That is a great help towards noticing what you're thinking. And the moment you realize you're on a tangent, you have to come back and pivot your thinking.
And you can pivot your thinking through affirmations, which are just our positive statements. Like if you're in lack, let the
Yeah,
abundance flow through me, right?
yeah,
I love this subject. It's because we are creators and we are creating our own reality and our own life. And I think the more that people can understand that they are in control, some people don't feel like they're in control, but you are 100% in control. What would some of the tips, like one of the tips is awareness. We talked about meditation, which is really just noticing your thoughts and then redirecting your thoughts.
yes, yes, absolutely.
I
You,
was going to talk because you have a course on monetizing your life, which
yeah,
I would love for you to speak a little bit for people that are listening and are new to the law of attraction. How can they draw into their life more of what they want and let go of that lack, that negativity, or whatever they're, like you said, there's two
different
sides
goals.
to everything, right?
Yes, yes.
So can you speak on how they can attract more goodness into their life? Tell them a little bit about your course.
Yeah, so I just rolled out the course named Magnetize Yourself by Raising Your Vibration and Attract Peace, Calm, and Ease in Manifestation in your life. So, what happens is we have a huge array of emotions going on within us all the time. So, the low level emotions can be fear, resistance, frustration, and depression. But the high level emotions are love, happiness, joy, abundance. If you stay in the lower level emotions, your vibration or your is very dense. Your vibration is very dense. But if you go towards higher emotions like love, happiness, laughter, joy, so your vibration is raised. This is called raising your vibration. Universe always agrees to you. Universe is always accepting whatever you're vibrating at. So if you vibrate in a higher vibration, higher frequency, you attract more good things towards you. If you're vibrating in love, you attract more love. If you're vibrating with abundance and gratitude, you attract more abundance and gratitude. So, all that I have condensed all that in my course. And right now it's 50% off with the coupon code Vibrate 2024. All, yeah. So,
And they can reach the course. It's www.urmilwadwal,
yeah, that HW.
URMILWADWA.com for her course. But
Yeah.
if we could just really touch on it, giving people a couple nuggets today to start to focus on this idea of raising their vibration when we're in this low level and we're feeling depressed and anxious or sad. What are some of the ways that we can start to shift that? I have what I use, but what would you recommend for people if they're sitting in that low level and they want to feel good? Because when you're feeling bad, it's easy to stay in that loop of feeling
Yes.
sad. For me, what I have my clients do is just move their body, move the emotions, move the energy, and then also that pivot, that shift through affirmations. But if we were to give people one or two tips, what would your like one or two number one tips be that somebody could start doing today to start shifting the energy and start manifesting things that they want to have in their life instead of focusing on the lack or the things that they don't have or the worry or the fear? What would two of those things be for you?
See, the very first thing is being aware of it. The
Mm-hmm.
moment you are aware of it, half of the job is done because now you know that you have to shift. As you said, dancing and movement is very important to shake yourself off that energy of negativity.
Yeah, just shake it off, right?
Yes, yes. And then you can go for a walk. Meditation is always perfect for doing that because when you meditate, you go in silence. And for a few seconds, you can get rid of any thoughts. And then you are also aware of your thinking and you learn how to pivot them and going for walk in the nature and then suggesting yourself that what you're thinking is not yourself. It's just some thoughts, like keep bringing a distance between yourself and your thoughts.
I
So,
love that.
and
Yeah, because
narrating,
they're not true. Our
yeah,
thoughts
yeah,
don't necessarily mean that they're true.
yes. And our perception happens due to our conditioning, which may not be true. We all have different conditioning, and based on our conditioning, we perceive things or surroundings, whatever is happening. Like in one event, if two people are there in one event, somebody is taking it as a negative event, somebody is taking it as a positive event. And this
True.
all comes from the kind of conditioning they have. It's very important to understand your belief system, your conditioning, and being aware of your thoughts and then pivoting them. Yes.
I love those 3 points because I think too, for me, when I was younger, I thought that this was just how things were in life and that this is, when I learned that I could actually retrain my mind because that's what we're doing through meditation and awareness. We're just
Ah,
retraining the mind. That for me was so empowering. Like I have the power to work on myself every day through those things that you said, through awareness, through pivoting, through raising the energetic level. Because when we're in that low energy level, we can't call in the things that we want. It's so important. So really it comes down to what our thoughts and what we say.
yes, yes, absolutely. And
I
your focus,
And your
absolutely.
focus. Yeah. So if you were to walk away with three things today, it's awareness of what you're thinking, your focus, and then even your energy levels. Like, where are you right now listening to us? If you're listening to us, I know you want to improve because that's what this podcast is about. That's what we're here to do, is to improve our life, to live our best life. Real quick, you shared a story with me about how you called in a piece of jewelry. Can you share that with us? Because I think it's just a
Yeah.
beautiful story of the law of attraction. And then we'll leave the audience with the tips and where they can find you again. And I hope you guys are enjoying this conversation as much as I am. It's speaking my language with such a beautiful soul. I energetically called in Ermal to my life, and I'm so grateful for that. So if you could just share that story with us.
Okay. Yeah. It's a beautiful story that I lost a piece of pendant while I was coming back from dinner with friends in India. And the moment I came out of the taxi and walked towards my house, I noticed that little pendant, which had emotional connection to me, was a gift from my mother-in-law. And I noticed that pendant is missing. So I immediately ran back to the taxi, thinking, I hope it's not gone. So when I went to the taxi and explored the bottom where I was sitting, And I found my phone there. Actually, I had lost my phone also, and I wasn't aware of it. And okay, but the pendant was not there. And I came back thinking I've lost the pendant, and I was so upset, so sad. So when we reached home, my husband said, "Forget about it. It's okay. It's just a piece of jewelry. You can buy another one." But because it had some sentimental value to it, so I couldn't sleep that night. But I kept on pulling that pendant towards me. It was like I was trying to magnetize that towards me. With those thoughts that I want the pendant back, I went off to sleep very late that night. And in the morning, when my husband went for a walk, he saw something glimmering in close distance. And he went closer there and found that was my pendant there, and he picked it up. Can you imagine? At 6 a.m. in the morning, when the sweepers have swept the place, anybody could have picked that up, but it was my husband who got it, and he brought it back to me. And I
That
was so
story
happy.
gives me goosebumps
Yeah, yeah.
because it's just, I mean, you and I can spend all day talking about the law of attraction and we have talks about it, but we both know the more you do the work of working on yourself, of working on your thoughts and working on your focus, the more you call into your life. And Irmal, I know this is for you, but also for me, it's like, manifesting just comes. I look at life as a gift and I'm like, okay, what beautiful thing are you going to send me today? And that in that thinking, I'm so much more relaxed and my vibration is so much higher and amazing things happen during
Yes.
my day.
And I would give a suggestion to your viewers to
Yes.
create a small journal where you can write down anything good happens to you. Whatever, if you keep writing, whatever good is happening in your life, or you are attracting something good yourself, just write it down. And then after some time, go back and read that. So the more you will be attracting more of good things in your life.
Thank
Because,
you for that.
yeah,
I love that share.
absolutely. So
I
writing
love that
whatever,
because you're right. First of all, you're focused on the good, right? So then you're changing the vibration to the good and you're calling more good. That is such
yes,
a great tip. Write down. And what I've learned too, it's also proof from the universe, right? That you're
yes,
on the right track.
yes. It's like you're strengthening your law of attraction muscle, I would say.
I love that. I love that because I'm all about strength. You're right. If you want to strengthen your law of attraction muscle, journal all the good things that you have. Also, check out Irmal's new course. It's an online course, right? You can do it
Yes,
yourself
yes.
and go to her website. It's in the back. It's Irmal Wadwa. I'll also put it in the comments. Check it out. She's an amazing person. I hope you enjoyed this interview with her. I love speaking to her. Irmal, any closing thoughts for our viewers?
So for the course, I have a 50% off right now, and they can use the coupon code Vibrate 2024 with capital letters Vibrate and no gaps in between. Yeah. And
Vibrate 2024 for 50% off. And how long is that coupon in effect for? Is there an expiration?
for a couple weeks.
Couple
It's
weeks. Okay.
yeah.
Check it out. I am so happy that we did this. I am so grateful for you.
Thank you so much. And I'm grateful to have connected with you. You vibrate so beautifully. I can
Oh,
feel your light, Jennifer. I can totally get your light. It's beautiful. Keep spreading it.
that is the nicest thing I've ever heard. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
I'm giving you this like virtual hug.
Oh, thanks. Same.
Irmal, this has been amazing.